hey, it's your girl, Carmel Jean-Francois, owner and founder of CFit Coaching. Welcome back to my channel. All right, so here we are, and you guessed it. I'm on live with a very, very beautiful, dear, special person that I've only recently met. And she's whole food plant-based, and I wonder why I like her so much. But we're here to learn a little bit more about her. I'm getting to know her just as you're getting to know her as well. Her name is Arlette, and she works with people who are overweight to lose their weight, but for a very special and very unique and beautiful reason. And we're going to bring her on stage because she's going to be able to explain it much better than I will. Arlette!
Hi, Carmel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's so good to be here with you on your channel. I love it.
Well, thanks for saying yes, and thank you for being so like compliant. You were like, yeah, let's do it. I love that.
Yes.
Well, I was telling the folks who you work with. So basically, first of all, I want to hear maybe just a little bit about you because I'm going to dive in deeper
Okay.
about you and your journey. But
Okay.
just to let the folks know who you are, what you do, and who you work with, the individuals that you serve.
Okay. Well, thank you again for having me. And thank you, audience, because I know you're welcoming this time with Carmel and I. My name is Arlette Lanae, AKA Beautiful Promise. And I am a wife of 42 years. I'm a mother of 3 adults and 2 grandchildren. And I am a professional singer and I'm an author, but I am a holistic coach and a whole food plant based nutritionist. I serve people like myself, which are singers, musicians, speakers, and dancers. I serve those who are overweight and I help them to release the weight with the adaptation of a whole food plant based lifestyle, sound therapy, meditation, and breath work. So those are my modalities that I use in in my practice of no pressure, release the weight.
No pressure, release the weight. That is the name of your company.
Yes,
I love that. No pressure, release the weight. I'm sure that that has a few meanings to it based on the fact that you're working with people who are on stage, who use their voice, who sing. Can you
yes.
let us, can you tell us a little bit about no pressure, release the weight?
Well, no pressure, release the weight originally came when I started studying about nutrition and plant-based nutrition specifically. And I know in this fast-paced world that we live in, and how the physical appearance is just so important to us, and sometimes it's not necessarily in a way that is healthy or beneficial to us from a mental and emotional standpoint. And so there's this rush within the system of things to get the weight off. And so as a result of that, many people are offered things that are not necessarily healthy or beneficial, like the pills, the powders, the potions, and the procedures. And I personally have experienced all of those things except the procedures. And so I wanted to delve into being able to release my own personal weight in a more authentic way, in a more intuitive way. And so, as far as the pills, powders, and potions and all of that, I released all of that. And I began to take an approach that was more holistic, that felt better to me, you know, intuitively. And so, yeah, so no pressure, release the weight comes from an ideal to approach weight loss from an intuitive standpoint, even intuitive we
Uh-oh.
really stop and think about, when we're eating, if we really stop and think about it, often we're full a lot of times before we put our fork down, you know? So
Right.
we want to, approach this in a way that is going to be healing, because a lot of the reason that many of us, are overweight is because of our unhealthy relationship with food and because of the emotional trauma that really is trapped inside of our nervous system. So
You,
with this, go ahead.
sorry.
That's okay.
You're saying a lot, right? Because
Yes.
I want to backtrack a little bit. I want to backtrack a few things that you said, Arlette. I want to first ask about okay, so you said that you released the weight.
Yes.
And so I'm going to ask, did you release the weight in the same with the same modalities that you're now training your clients to do it with the
The
sound healing?
Yes, the first, I'll say this, the first part of my weight loss was not with the sound therapy,
Hmm.
but it was, some of it was with the adaptation of a whole food plant-based diet. Carmel, I've actually been on my journey for some time now. And
Arlette,
go
I'm going
ahead.
to stop right there
Yes,
because people think weight loss and healing is a 30-day thing.
it's
It's a
not
30-day
30.
journey. In 30 days, I'm going to be healed. I'm going to be slim. And I'm going to be that way forever. So I'm so glad that you said that because
Yes.
as you, my healing is, excuse me, my journey is 17 years in. so,
Wow.
so I appreciate you saying that. So go
Yes.
ahead. I didn't
Yes.
want to interrupt, but I wanted to really pinpoint and highlight that. So thank you.
Yes, and Carmel, I'll just say, it's not the fault of the people that they believe that it's a 30, a 60, or a 90-day journey. It's not their fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once you get the information, it is your responsibility to do
Mm,
something different about it. And so, yes, my journey has been quite some years now. I would say like over 20, because I started out thinking that the shakes and the pre-planned meals and all of these things was the way, and it really is what we're taught in the health and
mhm,
fitness world. But
100%.
when I began to transition to being, first it was just vegan, and
Mhm,
as I understood at that time, vegan to be, and
mhm.
with transitioning to a vegan lifestyle, of course, I was not doing the animal products and the dairy and everything, but I was still doing a lot of junk food
Okay.
because, come on, chips are vegan, Oreos are vegan. A lot of the things that we like are still absent of animal
French
products.
fries.
Absolutely, that is like my heart. I love French fries. But, it was about me finding, different ways to um, do what I needed to do to become fully, healthy. And so I don't even, really say to people, oh, I'm vegan. I say I'm plant based because vegan is like really a whole world within itself,
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
it really is. And then
it,
there's tears.
absolutely. And so, yes, while I am absent of animal products and, dairy and everything like that, I practice a whole food, plant based lifestyle. And
So,
mhm,
Arlette, you also said intuitive eating. And
yes,
I feel like in our circle, I know fully well what intuitive eating is, but many people don't. And we've lost the connection. So I love that you practice your art into holistically because many people have lost the ability to even read the signs that their bodies are giving them. Can you explain what intuitive eating is and why it's so important to our holistic way of eating, losing weight, being healthy?
hmm. So I will say this, Carmel, as a result of having an unhealthy relationship with food, and part of that was as a result of being a child coming up, and my parents used to say, "You are not getting up from the table until you finish everything on your plate." There began my journey of an unhealthy relationship with food. And that's no shame or any shadow or anything toward them. They did what they knew to do.
Mhm,
But when I knew better, I started to do better. So
mhm.
intuitive eating has to do with, and in my signature program, I call it sexy eating. Because, yes, I call it sexy eating because when you have your plate of food, and actually, I'm going to talk about this today on my own live. When you have your plate of food and you begin to eat, um, it doesn't feel sexy to keep eating beyond your body's whispers of saying it's
Mm.
enough. So I don't eat anymore until I'm full. I eat until I'm content. And what that means is stopping in the middle sometimes of what I'm eating and giving myself an opportunity to feel what my body is feeling, which is that I've had enough.
But Arlette, the French fries taste too good. I don't care how what kind of whispers my body's telling me. The French fries taste good. I want to finish the bucket of French fries.
Absolutely.
What do I
But
do?
when you make a decision that how you feel is more important than your appetite satisfaction, then you
Mm,
begin to move a bit differently.
mm.
Yeah, so yeah, I am a French fry girl too. But now, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect with it, but I'm practicing listening to my body. Really, you have had enough. And then now I don't have to be afraid,
Mhm.
because there was a time that I won't get this tomorrow. As a kid, there was that anxiety that I got to eat this up now because I won't
Stop
have
it.
this tomorrow, you know? And so yeah, so intuitive eating involves really listening to your body and allowing your body and your mind to connect, and then listening, and then making the decision to stop.
To
And I'm
stop.
not saying that it's always going to be easy, but you
No.
got to begin somewhere to
You got
begin
to
to
begin somewhere.
practice. Yeah.
And I always say it's about the decision. It's
Yes.
about the decision. You
Yeah.
made a decision. And another thing I learned, Arlette, that I want to share with you, I want to hear what your reaction is commitment. Have you
Mhm.
kept your commitment to your commitment? Right? We keep to your commitment. We keep commitments to all other people, everybody else around us, right? We keep our
Mhm.
commitment to our meetings, to our dinner parties, to
Mhm.
invitations, and to our boss.
Mm.
To we keep our commitments in all areas of our lives, and then we make a commitment to ourselves, and we break them, and we're okay with it, right?
Mm.
So that when you said decision, you have to make a decision, and you have to
Yeah.
start somewhere.
Yeah.
That's and it's powerful, and it's not easy.
It's
And
not.
the food industry, the marketing industry, they make it sound like it could be as easy as this, and it's not. We have to
That's
put in
right.
the work.
That's right. And even with you bringing up that word, Carmel, decision. That when you break that down, decision means to cut off.
Mm,
So when you make a decision, you're cutting off all other options to do
mm,
anything other than what you have committed or promised to yourself. I have a part in my program that talks about keeping your promises to yourself, and that's not an easy thing. If you've ever been a person that is a people pleaser, if you've ever been a person that has put other people before yourself, if you've ever been a person where everybody else's emergency became your emergency, yeah, it's not easy to always keep your commitment. And even as it relates to nutrition, because in my family, I'm the only one at this point that eats fully plant based. And so when all of the holidays came up, when all of the things came up, I still cooked two separate meals. I cooked for my
mm,
family
mm,
and for their pleasure, but I
mhm,
cooked for what I needed to fuel my body and to
mhm,
keep my commitment to myself. But
mhm.
I cannot tell you that that has been easy, but it has definitely been worth it.
It has definitely been worth it. That's amazing. I recently, Arlette, I recently decided that if I'm inviting anybody over, I'm cooking what I want to eat, and everybody else will conform to the healthy way of eating. And if they want to bring their own plate, have at it. Because if I'm going to somebody else's home and I know that there won't be a meal for me, I will bring my own plate.
That's true.
So I'm okay with somebody else bringing their own plate. Last year for my birthday, I invited everybody out to dinner at a restaurant that did not cater to vegans, whole food, plant-based vegans. And all I did, because I wanted my guests to be happy,
Yes.
and I just ordered maybe the one option that was on that menu for me. Did I enjoy it? I always enjoy my food, so that wasn't
Yes.
even a problem. But I made sure that that one meal that was available to me was whole food plant based.
Yes.
This year, I said we're having it at a whole food plant based restaurant, and whoever doesn't want to have that food won't show up. I still love you. Wish me a happy birthday, but that's the way it's gonna be. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So we have to get more comfortable with our decision, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And not worry so much if anybody else is gonna feel comfortable around the decision that we've made. That's
Yes.
my decision.
That's so
Yeah.
true. So true.
hmm hmm Okay. So beautiful promise. I heard you mention that. Beautiful promise sounds. And you just mentioned something about you have a specific area in your program where you talk about the promises that we make to
Keeping your
ourselves.
promises. Yes.
Keeping your promise. Talk to me about beautiful promise because that's your email address and that's one of your Instagram pages. And I was like, oh, I just want to know the background about
Oh my
beautiful
goodness.
promise.
You know what? I have a dear friend of mine who lives back home. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
And it was funny because we were talking about our names. And I've always been into knowing and understanding, what my name meant, even as a little girl. So my name means faithful, a pledge, a promise. So when her and I were talking about names, she asked me, she said, if you had an opportunity to change your name, would you ever change it? And I said, no, I really like Arlette Lanae. That's my first and middle name. I love
Beautiful.
it.
Okay.
And
Lene.
then I said, but you know what? If I could change my name, I would change it to Promise. And my
Ooh,
husband was walking by and he said, beautiful promise. And that's where that came from. And so it's stuck with me for years, but it means a lot more than just a name. It does mean, adapting that type of attitude where I keep my promise to myself. The
yes.
promise of my life is a beautiful promise. It's a beautiful promise. I have a promise of an abundant life, a life that is full of health, because these are the things that I choose to take on for myself.
Yes.
And so I take on not only the mindset, but the attitude and the behavior of beautiful promise of things to come. So yeah, that's where that
You
name
told
came.
me that's thank you for sharing that. You told that to me. I got goosebumps. I got to tell you, it
Thank
resonated with me.
you.
It was so beautiful.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
thank you for that. So what else did I want to ask you? I want to ask you. So, you know what? Two things.
Okay.
I know you. I see you. I see you. I see you and your lashes. And I almost put on mine tonight before I got on camera. I almost said, I said, you know what? And I didn't only because I just got home from work. I was like, ah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I almost did, girl. That's
Yes.
that's number one. And the second thing is, I wanted to know if we can hear you sing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You don't have to sing now.
Okay.
As we talk, think about what you might want to belt out and or softly sing.
Okay.
But I want to know a little bit about more about the people that you serve and why that's so important to you that you serve this group of people.
Yes. Okay. So I serve singers, speakers, musicians, and I've recently added dancers for two reasons. Because there were a couple of dancers that reached out to me as I've been going more public on my feed, and they were saying, "Well, do you include dancers?" And I thought about it. For almost 10 years, I served as a worship and arts director. Now, the worship and arts director, as that, I also led the whole dance. The whole dance, I facilitated the dance, which meant that part of my job was not only to sing, but a part of my job was to choreograph dance for the dance team. And so I have been dancing, even publicly for a long time, probably since like junior high school. So I have a background in jazz, modern, and ballet and tap, and I also trained other dancers to be on a team. So what I realize is that would be leaving a person's gift on the table, especially dealing with what I have dealt with. I have showed up on the stage not only as a singer and a speaker, but also as a dancer. And I was overweight. And I understand, I overstand, and I understand how
Mm,
it feels to show up and to layer yourself in your dance attire so that you feel comfortable enough to be on stage in front of people. And even with that, just the constant thought of, okay, are my things okay? Is it going to come up? Is it going to show this area of excess weight, you know?
mm,
And so it has been not only with my singing and not only with my speaking, but also with my dancing. And so I serve people like myself because I can feel what they feel as it relates to, yeah, I can get up here and I can sing or I can dance and it will move the crowd. It will move them and they will feel it. But how do I feel in my body? At the
mm,
end of that performance, how do I feel when I watch the performance back, if it's been video? Do I over criticize and critique myself because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin? And I would have to say yes to all of those things. I have
mm,
over critiqued and criticized things that other people probably didn't see. But I had a responsibility to do something not so much about an outer appearance,
mm,
but about an inner health. And that's what became so real to me. Because whatever all of us are doing in this life, we're doing it because that's what we're here for. So when I sing and when I get up and do a poetic piece, when I get up and if I dance, all of these are reasons that I occupy space on this earth. And if I'm not comfortable, if I'm not healthy, then I'm not effectively delivering my gift or my reason for being. And so, yeah, I'm really passionate about people being up on stage and being able to, to live out. None of us know when our, journey on this in this realm will end. But I believe that we can show up on the other side, meaning we can leave here before our time if
mm.
we're not healthy.
If
So
we're not,
I needed, yeah, so I needed to make different choices because I saw people not only within my family, but when within my profession, within my industry, I've seen singers and dancers, entertainers that have left here early because they were not healthy, because they were overweight, and because being overweight, being obese is the gateway to all of the other lifestyle diseases. It's been normalized and it's been like, oh, you're overweight, it's okay because grandma and granddad was, overweight and this is okay. It's okay. But it really isn't okay. And we're not showing up as our best and our highest self if we're overweight
and
because
if
it's going to
we're
lead to other things.
right, we're not showing. You said the outer appearance and the inner health, and I loved how you said that. And what with the people that you serve, and even how you showed up to do what your calling was, right? your art,
Mhm.
your poetic words, your dancing, your singing, and yet you are moving the crowd, but you're still concerned. Are they going to be able to see that? And am I showing like, and you're over critiquing yourself, right? So it takes away too from the art that you have to offer.
Yes,
So not only are you critiquing yourself, but I could have gotten more of Arlette if Arlette was
yes,
100% secure in her skin. And
absolutely.
because to a certain extent, there's a little bit of a holding back there if that's what you're concerned with. Now, I'm sure there are singers and performers out there that just kind of like they just let loose and they let spirit take them or whatever. But at the end of the day, even if you do like release everything, but you turn around and you're looking at yourself and you're critiquing yourself and you're picking yourself apart, that does nothing for here, that does nothing for here. And
Yes,
even the next time you take the stage,
yes,
and so yeah, and not only that, like being overweight or unhealthy will take years away,
yeah,
take your life sooner than necessary,
yes,
steal your art and steal your passion away from the people who enjoyed it so or have yet to enjoy it,
yes.
right?
Hmm.
And not only that, the quality of life. It's being able to
Absolutely.
wake up feeling good and not feeling that headache or extra lethargy or
Yes.
right, or feeling inflamed, or I don't know if I could belt it out today because my chest hurts a little bit. All
Mm.
these little things that
Hmm.
come with not being so healthy,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So yeah, you explained that quite beautifully. You explained that beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Yes. So any any success stories with anybody that you've worked with?
Oh,
Uh-oh, you
okay,
frozen.
yeah, okay, sorry.
Oh,
Can you hear
did
me?
you hear my
Yeah,
question?
no, what was your question?
My question was, have you gotten any success stories with any of your clients with reference to releasing the weight?
I do have success stories. I have just recently added the modality of the sound, as well as the meditation and breath work. And so I have, you asked me earlier, have I used any of those things for myself? And I absolutely have.
Okay.
Um, Sound baths are pretty popular nowadays, and that's one of the sound baths. Yeah,
Okay.
it's where you
Can you explain?
come. Hmm? Yes,
Can you
it's where
explain that?
yes, it's where you come because that's actually the way that I plan to launch, and that will be a launch where people can actually come to. But I'm
Hmm.
also going to do it virtually too, so it'll be kind of
Okay.
like around the in the first quarter of the new year. And so a sound bath would that would entail the people, coming together, and of course the lighting, everything would be, in a very relaxed setting. And then I would use, okay, so my first instrument of healing is my voice. So I would use my voice for different tones. I would use my guitar, my rain stick. My husband's going to join me in that. He plays piano. So I'm going to use all of the instruments of sound to bring about an atmosphere that will facilitate people to release trauma, because
Hmm.
trauma is part of the reason that a lot of people are still dealing with weight. And one thing that I have pinned, Carmel, is that it's not so much what's on the end of our fork that causes us to yo-yo and go back and forth with our dieting. It is what is at the beginning of our trauma. So if we begin to touch those areas of trauma, what will happen is it will be revealed to us. Everybody has their own trauma and what has happened to them through hearing the sound. And I'll say this because the sound has frequency. The
Hmm.
sound has vibration, and there's scientifically something that happens when we begin to have sound. So if we are in a concentrated area where Okay, I'm going to play my sound bowl, for instance, and I'm going to sing a tone. And when I do that, what I want to know, my prompt cards are going to say, what did you feel? Did you feel anxiety? Did you feel overwhelmed? Did you feel peace? What did you feel? So, what I'm doing is kind of getting them to begin to voice what they're feeling so that we can continue in sound because there's healing sounds too. So
Mhm.
and the sounds are called hertz. So like I think 534 hertz deals with healing and anxiety and different things. So there'll be different sounds that I will hit with my voice or the instrument that will go to the root of the trauma. And so that is where the release the weight come in. And I'll tell you, even though, yes, I do use a whole food, plant based lifestyle to do this, but because my gifting, my personal gifting, deals with sound, like the musicians and the speakers and the movement, as far as dance, all of that, because it deals with that, then why wouldn't the gift that I already have on the inside have the power and the ability to set me free?
Yes.
We all have inside of us what it takes to live this life successfully and completely. So, what I have inside of me are words, words of life, and I have my voice, my tone, and I have the instruments that I'm picking up along the way. Those are the things that I have to help me to release the weight. Now, I will say since like June, from June until like today, this very day, I've been more practicing in my own personal quiet time, using my voice and using my different sound modalities. And I didn't even know that I was dropping more weight. And that's because I'm releasing more trauma in my quiet time. So from June till now, I have been like struggling with probably about 25 pounds more that I needed to, get off. And I would say I definitely broke a barrier. I'm still not at my goal weight, but I'm less than 20 pounds away.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so that happened as a result. I'm 100% positive of me doing what I'm doing in my quiet time because,
Mm.
yeah, the whole food plant based life was taking me there, but this accelerated things because it's within my wheelhouse. It's part
Right.
of what I do.
It's what you do. It's who you
Yeah,
are.
absolutely.
So that's I love everything that you just said. And I remember coming across that sound healing and sound therapy. And it just made so much sense to me because there are so many different types of healing modalities to healing, right? And
Yes,
everybody resonates with something. And it's a beautiful thing when you can introduce that to somebody who didn't know that that existed, yet they resonate with, especially with the sound and the dance and movement, because
yes,
even movement releases trauma,
yes,
right? Our voice
absolutely.
releases trauma. Singing releases trauma, right?
I like that you just began to move along with it.
And I understand that, and I feel like so many people understand that, Arlette, on a spiritual basis, on a
Yes,
spiritual level, that they
yes,
might not even able to articulate or don't even know that they resonate with it until it
yes,
is presented to them. And that's what you're doing.
yes.
And that's what you're doing. So thank you for that. And
You're
I wanted to
welcome.
know also, were you were you practicing healing before you became whole food plant-based, or was whole food plant becoming that was the catalyst? I just want to know the timeline, how that happened for you.
Well, was practicing healing before my whole food plant based lifestyle. And meaning when I say practicing it, I mean through singing and
Mhm.
through there's different times that I did conferences and was a speaker, as
Mm.
well as through my dance, because I always knew how powerful and how important movement was,
Yes.
and is. And so I was always very specific with different times that I was invited to dance somewhere. I was always very specific with the music choice. And if the music had words, it definitely had to. Um, oh, this is something trying to. Hold
I
on.
got you still. You still
You
here?
still got me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, something came up and tried to some Adobe kind of thing. But
Okay.
yeah, so so I was always very specific and very sensitive to the audience that was going to be there, knowing that what I needed to deliver from movement or from my voice needed to be able to meet and to help the people that were there. And so
Mm,
my journey with healing started a long time ago. And I will say this, I didn't always know to call it healing
mhm,
until people began to come up to me and tell me what they were experiencing as a result of my performance. So it all centered around healing. And so when I adopted a whole food plant based lifestyle, because there was so much healing that was taking place in me as a result of adopting this lifestyle. I mean, I'm telling you, Carmel, I'm not the same person. Not even in the way that I interact with people. I'm not the same person. Whereas certain situations may have before caused me to react in a certain way, I am truly a responder. I am truly a responder. And that's not to say that I do everything perfectly,
right.
but I've always been a kind and considerate and gentle person. But I tell people now, I truly lead my life with love and gratitude. Those are
Okay.
two of the top things that I lead my life with. And so that causes me to take a very non judgmental and critical standpoint as it relates to life and people.
Right.
Yeah, so
So, okay, so we're gonna begin to wrap up, right?
okay.
But I did something that you were talking about, how you became such a completely different person since you became whole food plant based.
Mhm,
I've heard other people say, and I felt it too, to a certain extent,
mhm.
that when they fast, and I know we're not talking about fasting, but when they clean up their diet, so to speak, let's just put it
Yes,
that way, when they clean up their diet and they rid their bodies of a lot of the heaviness that the standard American diet contains,
yes,
they're able to actually have a more intuitive relationship with
mhm,
self.
yes,
They can hear when their body is uncomfortable, and it feels some kind of a discomfort in any situation, not
yes,
not whether or not they should eat the fries, but in
right,
any situation, in energies of people,
yep,
vibe in spaces.
yes.
And so was that enhanced for you? Because I'm sure you had it to a certain extent because you are a healer and you practice these modalities. Did that enhance for you?
Absolutely. I would say absolutely. When I first eliminated animal products and became at that time what I called even like a junk food vegan, it was as a result of I started like a 21 day reset.
Okay.
And like the first 7 of the 21 days dealt with me eliminating the meat and the dairy and that type of thing. That was the first 7 days. The next 7 days I was eating grains, fruits, and vegetables. The last 7 days I was only eating fruit and vegetables. And when I tell you, on the second of the last 7 days I was trying to figure out, how can I live like this forever? Because Carmel, when I tell you my mental clarity, the overwhelming love and sensitivity, and when I'll say this, like you said, we're not talking about fasting, but when you are fasting or cleaning up your diet, and that's a form of fasting because you're releasing things that had normally been a part of your everyday, life. And so when I began to, release those things, I was even able to get answers quicker. My recall was quicker, and the overwhelming love and compassion that I began to feel, and the judgment and criticism that began to release, that was as a result of the dietary changes that I was making. But for me, it's always been a whole person approach. So when I say
Mhm.
body, soul, and spirit, there were things that were happening on all of those levels as a result of me releasing those those foods, those highly processed and animal products.
Wow. So it's not, oh, that sounds like such a beautiful transformation. And what I'm hearing as well is as you were releasing those toxins, you were releasing negative energy and even the negative people around you, and you were really taking in and receiving a lot of the kindness and generosity that
Yeah.
that is already your makeup. So you are receiving more of who you are as you release the things that were just pretty much holding you back and keeping you captive, and
Mhm.
so to speak, because not to speak.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
so true.
Wow. Well, Arlette, I loved hearing. I First of all, you articulate so well. I love your voice, and this was just so relaxing and
Oh,
perfect for me for end of day. I just felt really like engaged and really in your energy. So I thank you for releasing that energy to me.
oh,
To
thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you. Would you leave us with even if it's a one sentence little song? Just, I want to hear your beautiful voice.
Okay, I have something that is very quick, and it might be a little over 5 sentences, but
Okay.
it's a song that I wrote, and I just want to leave your audience and you with this, because I wrote this song originally for my plants.
Oh,
My plants. And the
mm,
reason is a friend of mine gave me a piece of her plant, and when I planted it, the transition wasn't going so well.
mm,
And so when I was walking past my plant one day, I felt like the spirit just said to me, sing to your plant. And so I began to get a download of a song immediately. But I'll tell you, Carmel, when I got that download from my song, my plant, I don't know if you can even, I don't know if you can even see it, but maybe I'll take a picture of it later. But it began to flourish. Plants have life just like we have life. So I began after that to sing the song to my family and to different people that I love anytime I just felt to sing. And to sing a song like this. So I'll sing it to your audience because, we're talking about health. Be here for the amount of time that we're supposed to be here, and not just be here, but be here living an optimal life. That's
yes.
what my desire is. So I'm going to sing the song, and hopefully you can understand all of the words. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. And I want you to stay. I want you to stay. 'Cause you make my life beautiful. And you help me to breathe. And you make my life beautiful. And I want you to stay. I want you to stay forever and ever, forever and ever, forever and ever. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. You make my life beautiful. Plants help us to breathe, and we help one another to breathe when we're walking in alignment with one another and with life and health.
Yes. That was
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you
Beautiful.
so much.
I almost got a little teary.
Thank
Arlette, thank you for gracing me and my audience, and now your audience.
you.
Woo, that was good. That was good. Tell people where to find you if they say, "I want to hear more. I want to learn from you." Where do people find you?
Well, you can find me on my Instagram page, which is No Pressure, Release the Weight, or you can find me on Facebook, which is Arlette Lanae Willis, Beautiful Promise.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the description, folks. So
Thank
you
you.
don't have to go all over the place to look for it. I'll definitely make sure that Arlette's information is available to us. Arlette, thank you once again. I'm so excited that I'm getting to know you better and better. I can't wait to meet
Oh,
you and squeeze you in person. That's going to be
yes, me too. Me too. I'm so excited. And thank you, Carmel, for having me here. It's been a beautiful space with us, and I love our energy together.
love
It's
it
beautiful.
too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you
Thank
too.
you.
Don't hang up right away. I'm going to
Okay.
end it. You don't go
Okay.
anywhere.
Thank you.